Dear participants, today I take a privilege to introduce Mr. Urvesh Thakkar, cybercrime investigator and cybercrime intervention officer. I just want to talk about a personal background. He's a cybersecurity enthusiastic and an aspiring cyber psychologist. His achievements are Global Cybercrime Helpline Awards in 2019, research paper publication in cybersecurity. He is a finalist of Smart India Hackathon, president of Maharashtra State National Technical Committee, Crime Free Bharat, and speaker at WorldCon International Conference. Well, he has a wide range of experience in the cyber security, and he's an executive security researcher, president for anti-cybercrime. He runs an NGO. He is an ethical hacking coach, and he has done a lot of internships in the cyber security. And he is the one who runs the NGO, and he teaches the students how to be secure in this cybercrime world. So he's certified ethical hacker CEH. He is OSFTC, OS Forensics Triage certification. There are many more he has done it. He has done many projects like Twitter card spoofing, bypass window defender with FUD botnets, then phishing vectors using Google Cloud. So many projects he has done it. It is long list where I have to, if it is to be told, it takes another 5 minutes, but I don't want to do that. Actually, we want to hear to Urvesh Thakkar, where he has got a vast experience in cybersecurity. The NGO, what he runs, anti-cybercrime, lastly, we are going to share the URL of the portal, so that will be very helpful for you all. Over to Urvesh Thakkar. Urvesh Thakkar, it is all yours stage now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your generous introduction. And without any further ado delay, I would like to start with the session. Now, before I start, participants, like especially who are of, you could say, kind of young age, college going students and all, they must be laughing at me as of now, saying that, why this guy is wearing a mask, he's sitting at his home. And I mean, okay, we can understand about others who are actually outside and they have to wear a mask, because there are a lot of public activities going on around here. But why Urvesh is wearing a mask sitting at his home, and that too in an online webinar where no one is there and he's quite alone, right? Now, especially this may go very funny when it comes to the age group such as me, like 18, 20-year-old people, college going students. They'll take the snapshots and they'll start making memes out of it, right? But the reason of wearing a mask, basically I'll just remove that. Yeah, because we all know the pain of wearing a mask since a year now, right? So the reason I wore a mask is just for the purpose of saying you that you all are able to see me, you all are able to view my mask in the physical world. And it's very easy to do so. It's extremely easy to do so. It's extremely easy to see that the person is wearing a mask. And even if a person is wearing a mask, it is easy to even judge that who is behind the mask, right? But this scenario completely changed when it comes to the cyber world. In cyber world, you cannot actually determine whether the person is wearing a mask or who is behind the mask. So
sorry, Urvesh, I'm really sorry to interrupt. Hello, Urvesh.
Yeah, ma'am.
Actually, you have to share your screen for your PPTs.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, ma'am. So, as I was saying, that it is quite easy, basically, to, you can say, wear a mask in the physical world, but it is not at all easy to determine the person is wearing a mask in the digital world or the person is not wearing a mask, right? And even if the person is wearing, so what is the intent of behind wearing a mask? Because in cyber world, everyone wears a mask, especially when it comes to the threat actors, the invaders. They are the one who actually wears a mask 24/7 to hide their identities and to do the malicious activities. Okay. So now I'll be sharing my presentation as well. Okay, so it's just loading. Give me a minute. Ma'am, just let me know once the presentation is visible, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Even I'm waiting for the same.
Okay, ma'am. Just a minute.
No, it's not visible, Urvesh.
Okay, ma'am, just
Shall
a
we
minute.
do
I'll
it from
just
our
reshare
side
it.
otherwise?
Yeah, ma'am, sure, sure, no worries.
Share from. I have in your mail. I just. Open your mail. Give me 1 minute.
Sure, ma'am.
Just now I've sent you. We'll switch on from our side.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, also, if possible, just allow screen sharing. I mean, if it's visible,
Yes.
because
Yes.
at a certain point of time, I have to screen share also.
All right. Perfect.
Okay, ma'am.
Share it. Screen share. My screen. It's fine, Urvesh. Can you
Yes, yes,
see?
ma'am, visible.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm able to view. Okay. So
Let
with
me
that
help you.
intro, yeah, okay, ma'am.
You have to just tell us when to move on to next slide. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. And
So we'll be
whenever
moving.
I want to share my screen, I'll notify for that as well.
Okay. Just यहाँ पे करो इसको. Assign. Make this.
Okay. So I'll start, ma'am.
Yeah. You have we have made us presenter. Just check once again.
Yeah, ma'am, I've got the access. Thank you.
Yeah. Just rotate the screen.
Okay.
You can rotate the screen.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm just identifying. I'm not, ma'am, could you just let me know where exactly I can rotate the screen option?
90 degrees. Okay. You have to go in the view settings, I think.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, got it. Once,
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
So just a minute. Ma'am, now I guess it's in proper orientation.
Yes. Yeah. It is perfectly.
Right.
It is
Go to
perfect.
full slide
Okay.
mode and start. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So with this note, sorry for the technical, issues, but now let's start. So I welcome everyone for this particular webinar, cybersecurity and modern attack vectors, right? And it's my pleasure and an honor to be invited as a speaker over here because it's my privilege to share whatever I have learned or I have gained in a past couple of years, being in this amazing domain of cybersecurity, at the same time the most you can say lethal domain as well. Okay, so now just to make the session more interactive, right? I guess the chat section is also enabled, so you all can write down in the chat, or what we could do is we could involve ma'am or the teachers also who have been attending, who can at least unmute themselves to answer a few of your questions, right? Because it will be a kind of interactive session, okay, wherein I just won't be speaking throughout, but at a certain point of time in some presentation slides, at least if you're not able to unmute that yourself, it's completely all right? Because we have actually imposed that restriction, right? To save a bit of bandwidth, right? But at least whenever I'm asking a question, I would request all the participants to actually, think of it for a minute and, keep your answers within yourself and honestly tell your answers, to yourself itself, right? So, in fact, the presentation will start in fact with a question itself, right? So, the first question is cyberspace an actual space, right? I'll just wait 30 seconds or so that you can just think over it and just you could conclude and then answer yes or no. And you could also provide yourself a reason that okay, if it's a cyberspace then yes, if why, and if no then why, right? If possible for the teachers also who can actually unmute could also give an answer to this question on behalf of all the attendees, right? So what you all think, is cyberspace an actual space? Now over here, many of the attendees or the participants or even the teachers who are actually attending the session, whosoever it is, regardless of the age group, the common answer will be no, right? Or the common answer could be yes. Why it would be no? Because it's a funny explanation that people say that it's not an actual space, we cannot enter over it, right? It's something, it's digital, how it can be an actual space, right? And for the ones who are saying yes, so they will be like, yeah, we can interact, we can communicate, we can do WhatsApp call, we can do video call, we can whole day we can run Instagram, we can see reels, we can see memes. It's an actual space, right? This could be the other scenario of saying the answer yes, right? But I'm with the, you could say, majority of the attendees saying the answer yes, I am with you. Cyberspace is an actual space. Not in the terms of that it's an actual space where you can, we can go and climb and, hang out with the friends or something like that. Not at all. It's not even it's not an actual space in the terms that we have, we are using WhatsApp and, we can communicate, right? I'm saying yes, cyberspace is an actual space due to the fact that it affects the way we behave in the reality today. Remember,
Urvesh,
our elders
Urvesh,
used to say
please
us.
excuse me. Hello, Urvesh.
Yeah.
Can you go to
Yeah,
full
ma'am.
slide mode? Full slide mode.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, please continue.
This is fine.
Yeah. So, you all remember that our elders used to say us. In fact, till day, many people do say us that the very first thing that we have to get up and do is as soon as we wake up from our bed is to see our hands like that. And various people actually do obey that, and they also pray and spell some mantras. You can say giving thanks to Saraswati Ma, saying that okay, because of you, I am over here and all. Some of these ethics we are quite aware of, some of you may not be aware of this, but now the scenario has completely changed. The moment we wake up from the bed is we search out for our mobile phones where it is. And to the interesting part, okay, considering that in this webinar there are a lot of participants towards the youth side also who are quite young, right? So they can easily relate to it, that in fact while sleeping, it's not something that moment we wake we take our phones. Many of us do actually stick to our phones and we sleep. If the phone is not near us or if the phone is not beside our bed, we won't be able to sleep. Why? Because before sleep we want to check what's going on, we want to see our Instagram, we want to see how many likes we got and all. And the first thing that we morning, we wake up is like we want to turn on a mobile data and see what are the notifications again, right? So it's being said that the human actually has to rest properly. At least 7 to 8 hours of proper sleep is needed. That also we won't we don't actually obey it. We just think that whatever is there is this this gadget over here which I'm holding in my hand, or that's all, right? So yes, cyberspace is an actual space because it affects the way you behave in the real world. And how actually does it affect? We'll actually try to uncover these kind of mysteries in the upcoming slides also, right? Now here I'm going to explain you some of the advantages of cyberspace over other spaces, right? So what actually makes cyberspace so vulnerable, and why is such that so many victims are falling into this trap rather than any other trap. What I'm trying to say over here in a layman term is, have you ever heard that there are 50 or 60 murder cases in one day? Very rare. I mean, it's something which is quite unusual and quite shady, right? But you ask me, 50, 60 cyber crimes each day, and just in one specific region, more than that it could happen. More than that, right? So the amount of, you could say, crimes that are been occurring over the digital space is quite more, and they are quite sophisticated when it comes to over the real world. And here are a few of the factors that makes it easy to do so. Number one is anonymity. So what people do think is that we are anonymous on the digital world. No one can see us. We are anonymous. We can create fake profiles. We can use some different name, and we can do whatever we want, right? But this is not the actual case. And I'm going to, in fact, reveal the truth behind it also in the upcoming slides. But this is one of the factor, you can say, the power giving factor that people think that we are anonymous on the internet. So resembling the term anonymity, they think no one can do this, no one can harm us, right? Next term is neutralization. And this is not that chemical H2O plus O2, that water neutralization reaction that we have studied in our chemistry books. Here, neutralization in the cyber world, it refers to over tolerance to the internet carrying out specific behaviors that would not be possible in the analog world. For example, what I'm trying to say in context of neutralization is, we behave different in the real world and we behave different in the cyber world. It's just like we have two faces, two sides of the coin. So in real world, the nature and the way we portray is completely different. And in the cyber world, the nature and the way we behave and the way we portray to others, it's completely different. Why? Because we feel in cyber world, we can do anything. That feeling of extreme freedom, you can say, is present in our, you can say, it's in our mentality, you can say, right? So that we can do anything in the world, right? For example, just to give you a common simple example to make it more simple to understand and relate to it is, try to go and slap someone in the real world. You won't be able to do that. Try to go and say something to someone which is not good or correct, or in a rude way to someone in the real world. You won't be able to do that. It's tough. We have to think. But same thing we can do easily in the cyber world. And how it's possible, I'll come to that also. We can say anything to anyone, right? We can even virtually slap anyone. Just send that slap emoji, done. The feelings are portrayed, right? So neutralization is another power factor that is making cyberspace more vulnerable. Then here is the third factor, which I guess is again most vulnerable, is overconfidence. So this overconfidence is a combination of neutralization and anonymity, combining, creating a thought process that people may think that it is very easy to do such things, and I won't be punished also. And those are already, it's not something that is going at an extreme level. Although the cyber laws are quite improvising, and the cyber security systems, the law enforcement agencies are each and every day working, we all people who are into the cyberspace are working towards the betterment of the netizen era, right? But still, this is one of the most important factor when it comes to anonymity plus neutralization, leading to the term overconfidence, that we feel that we can do anything in the cyber world, which is not actually possible in the analog world. Correct? Now, let me bit of explain about that, how it all started basically. Okay, so down, I'll just use Doraemon's time machine, or something like that, to go a few years back. Probably it was in the mid of 2013-14. This age, this you could say time frame, 2013 to 2014, was a time frame where there was the revolution in the digital world. And it was such a massive revolution, and there are a lot of factors contributing to that. And trust me, if I just try to cover those, it will be even so many hours less for me to say about it, right? But just the fact is, let me try to explain with a simple scenario over here. So assuming that here are all the attendees, regardless of all the age group, right? If there are some of the seniors, I mean, you can say a few moments ago, before my presentation, Padmaja ma'am explained so very well explanation about the cyber crime and all those other things, right? And she is very much senior to me. Being, very much senior to me, and she still has all this knowledge, you can, cross verify with your seniors also in today's time. Few years back, our elders, or previously, or if you are an adult as of now, if you are someone elderly person, you are aware that few years back we used to get 1 GB for 1 month, 1.5 GB for 1 month. You can, for the ones who have who are young, they can ask their mom and dads who were using WhatsApp and internet at that time. They used to get 1 GB for a month, 1.5 GB for a month. Yeah, for the entire month they have to use that 1 GB itself, right? So you see how less was the data consumption at that time, right? And today, if we see, we are getting 1.5 GB to 2 GB every day, and still every now and then we are getting a notification that you have used your 50%, you have used your 80%, you are exhausted with your data pack. Even despite of getting 2 GB every day in our smartphones using various services, Jio, Airtel, or whatever, we are still facing that it's quite less for us. Despite we also need another additional router or internet at our homes, if applicable. Especially during the pandemic times, it is important now, right? Similar to that, you could just relate to an example. A few years back, you can ask your elders, or I'm directly referring to the elders over here, that if you all are aware, few years back, if you wanted to go to someone's place, we never used to ask them. We directly used to go, and we were pretty well sure that they will follow the term Atiti Devo Bhava without any hesitation, right? And snacks will be ready. We'll be served with amazing welcome drinks and snacks, and especially during the festival times, right? We never used to ask someone that we are coming for a visit and all. Since 2013, when the digitalization increased, in a year or two, uh, Jio came up, right? Uh, Mukesh Ambani, sir, they came up with Jio initiative. As soon as Jio arrived, the data consumption, especially if I'm talking about of our country in India, it increased tremendously. Now, there is no actual statistics because it's not even taken 2x, 4x, 10x, 12x. Tremendous amount of data consumption increased, especially when it was there in the starting where it was giving free SIM cards, free data, use that much as you want. Yeah, obviously it was brought up as a positive end. It was brought up to revolutionize India's digital life cycle, making India's digital economy more stable. But there are a lot of drawbacks to it that actually are playing the role till today, right? So we used to actually didn't ask anyone, and we used to go to their houses, and we used to enjoy. As the revolution age came, the digitalization came into existence slowly and gradually. There came WhatsApp. As the WhatsApp came, everyone at a certain point of time, we have to admit, when WhatsApp was initially released, or when you all started to using WhatsApp for the first time, during a few days or such, everyone was addicted to it. Everyone, especially the ones who were using it for the new and the first time when it was released. For quite a couple of days or a week or so, we all got addicted to it. We were like, through, every now and then checking WhatsApp that who is sending me messages and all, right? Then came the age of short forms, slang words. So wherein we used to wake up in the morning, send someone special a good morning, have a nice day. We didn't follow that. We are like, GM, have a nice day. So we became more and more, dependent on the technology to convey our messages and convey our emotions, being ourselves the laziest human beings. Then gradually came the age of emojis, right? Today, if you want to say something, you don't type at all. And it's something I'm saying on my personal case also. Today, if my teachers are messaging me that, Urvesh, have you done this assignment? Urvesh, are you ready for the presentation? I am lazy to type okay. All I give is thumbs up. And ma'am understands, okay, thumbs up means he's ready. Correct? So the point is, this is how we are moving into the digitization, digital world today. And now, in the youth, it is a time for memes and GIF and all those other things that we send animations and GIF and all other things. So can you imagine the emotions that we convey from our heart, from our expressions, from our mouth, from our words, are now conveyed from our short forms, from our slangs? If we are angry, we just have to send an angry emoji. If you are happy, we have to send that laughing emoji. That's all. right? We are so lazy that we cannot even convey our emotions to someone. And this is a fact that previously, in the previous session, you saw about malwares and all those other things. So it was a time for information damage. All those things are actually done to damage the information, right? It was very famous and it was quite obvious during previously when the digitization was not so great that the threat actors was focusing on information damage and not information theft. Today, the scenario has changed. Even a malware or a ransomware is not with an intention of information damage, but is an intention for information theft. Previously, they used to damage, deteriorate, and tamper the information, tamper the data. Today, it's being said data is wealth. Today, the inverse case is going on that information is collected, information is stored, it's not tampered, it is being protected, it is being stolen, right? This is how the modern hacking world today is not focusing on information damage that we need to understand. It is focusing on information theft. And why I'm actually saying this, why I'm giving so much of emphasis on this, is a fact that we will easily understand in the next couple of slides. And then I'll come back to this slide to actually ask you that now is this point clear or not, right? But as of now, just think that today's cyber world is not dealing with information damage. Today's cyber world and threat actors, they are dealing with information theft. They want to do information theft. Okay. Now, before I deep dive, here are a few of the, you could say, couple of trends that are emerging in the cyber world today. Okay, here are a couple of trends. Now, we all are aware, whenever we hear the term hacker, um, it's like we think he's a criminal, he's an anti-national, he or she is an anti-national, he or she is a criminal, he or she is a person from which we have to stay away. These are the ideologies. And when I say the term what hackers hack, many of us will come with a term that, okay, hackers hack neighbor's Wi-Fi, hackers hack social media accounts, hackers hack someone who has forgotten the Instagram password. The hacker will hack that password. Or a hacker is simple a computer repair person. If anything goes wrong, we have to keep him or her as a friend, and you have to call him, hey, you're a hacker, right? This is not working in my system. So these are some of the myths that we have in our minds today whenever we think that what hackers do hack. Okay, but we'll come to that point as well, that what hackers do hack today. But the point is, it's not something that today malwares and the hackers are hacking neighbors' Wi-Fi. We are hackers. We have more amazing Wi-Fi than our neighbors. Why we should hack that, right? Why would we hack your Wi-Fi? We have more amazing Wi-Fi than you at our home, right? So here are a few of the trends that are actually there, and these are the upcoming cyber crime trends, you can say, which are actually increasing each and every year. They were there, they are there, and they will be there. And they will even multiply with the upcoming years, right? Number one are ransomware. So every year, the number of ransomware attacks double than the previous year. And just to give you a small layman explanation, ransomwares are nothing. It's a type of a malware. Once a ransomware has been infected in your system, it will automatically lock, you can say encrypt all your important files. Everything will be encrypted. And in order to decrypt that, you have to pay some ransom, in the sort money in the form of bitcoins. So already Padmaja ma'am have given a insight on that, right? So I won't be going too deep over there, right? So you have to pay some ransom to the hackers and you have to unlock your files. Then these are ransomwares. Then growth of 4G and 5G. So I was just saying about increasing data consumption, and with the growth of 4G, um, Dhan Dhana Dhan Karo Jio, right? We are all aware of this Jio Dhan Dhana Dhan. And with the growth of 5G, I'm not sure that how many of you people are actually aware that recently Airtel became the India's first telecom provider to test its 5G network on commercial basis. And very soon Airtel will roll out 5G distribution all over India so that common man can use 5G. And the speed of 5G, the advantages of 5G are tremendous. And let me just, give one more shocking insight to you all. So it will, why I'm saying all these things. So it is easy for us to understand that how backward we are thinking till now, that we are just thinking of those, small hacks and all. Not at all. So this is how the digital world is growing. 5G is yet to arrive. And Samsung, companies like Samsung and all those other big tech giants, they have already implemented the roadmap and the blueprint for 6G. So it's something very unpredictable the way technology is growing. I don't know. I mean, the more we talk about it's the less. Then with this growth of 4G and 5G, the data consumption will be used. As the data consumption will be used, the transfer through which we're, sending and receiving that data is also increased. At the same time, it is possible for us to perform sophisticated attacks, right? For the hackers especially. Then IoT security compromised. Today, we all are studying about different technologies, computers and all, but IoT is already there. A few years ago, when I started my career as a cyber security, we can say practitioner, my friends used to say me, just leave this, Phil, it's useless, right? Why? I said, that's why. IoT is coming, AI is coming, cybersecurity need will just go. Things will be automated already. Before IoT actually was implemented everywhere, there were IoT hacking, workshops available. IoT hacking was given an emphasis on, right? So as the data utilization, data utilization and IoT is related. As 4G and 5G and 6G will grow, it will be easy for us to transfer and use the data, and it will be easy for us to communicate with different devices that we are using IoT. And then IoT security also will be compromised, right? Social engineering. Our main focus for today also will be social engineering among all this, because since 4 years I'm working in social engineering, so I could give you a best insight about that. So despite of the weaknesses in the technology, yet the weakest security layer is the human layer, which we'll talk about also in a moment. Then state-sponsored cyber attacks. This is nothing but you can see, different geographical regions attacking on different geographical regions for whatsoever reasons, to compromise the data, for doing the identity theft and all, for the, identity information theft, whatsoever reason maybe. So to be very honest, many of the countries, and in fact our India also, is actually, spending billions and trillions of rupees in arms and ammunition, importing from Russia, importing from France and all those other things, right? Trust me, this will change down the few years of the line now. Why? Because the same amount will be invested not in arms ammunition, but will be invested in the defensive mechanisms of the cyber world. Why? Because state-sponsored attacks are increasing. Cyber war is the next World War III, and not the actual World War III, right? Cyber world is the next world war. Then here, we all know about artificial intelligence today. But in digital dark world, we call it as abusive intelligence. Okay, with intelligence trending to be artificial, so is the case with humanity. Intelligence is also already what we are doing. We have some intelligence in our brain. We are making that intelligence artificial. So we are developing artificial intelligence. With the growth of artificial intelligence, we are actually developing artificial humanity. And if humanity is artificial, where the world will go? Right? And I'll talk about this abusive intelligence also in the threat actors, that what are the threats that are actually increasing using this AI. Now, these are some of the common threats involving women, right? Till now, I was talking about a few of the general use cases. And to be very honest, cyber world doesn't discriminate between genders, to be very honest. Yet, the amount of you can say females who are being targeted or who are being victimized are quite more than the number of males, right? And common threats involving women, I'm not covering all, I'm not touching all, but these are the most common, most widely affected, which we can hear each and every day. Cyberbullying, sexual harassment, or I could say it as digital sexual harassment, impersonation, and cyber stalking. Cyberbullying, you all are quite aware of what is cyberbullying. Still, just to explain in a 1 or 2 lines, it's nothing but you are being criticized in the cyber world. Okay, you are posting some of the pictures on your social media, and everyone is like, she is looking so dark, she's looking so dull, she's not looking good at all. She should she should see herself in the mirror once again. She should not do this. How the dress she is wearing. These are the cyberbullying concepts. Trust me, cyberbullying is more disturbing than actual bullying. In actual bullying, if there is girl power, we all, I mean, especially it's for the women, so I encourage girl power. someone like this will actually do in the real life. The woman will go and give a tight slap on the face. This is the term I'm using. But in the cyber world, it is quite difficult to control these things, because we again are not seeing who is behind the mask. Who to blame? Who is to be blamed now over here? Correct. Then comes digital sexual harassment, and this is actually the root cause, or you could say the conclusion, that innocent women are actually involving in virtual scandals, wherein especially the women with the age group who is seeking for marriage. See, especially it's quite a lot in the marriage age. Why? Because there is a lot of peer pressure from the society and from the family regarding marriage and everything. A woman quite understands it's much better than us. So the women look it out for virtual relationships, matrimonial sites and all, where this cyber threat actors pretending to be NRIs. Okay, they say, I'm in love with you and I want to impress you. I'm sending some gift from UK and US, but it is stuck in customs. So pay this amount of lakhs in rupees, and a gift will be sent to you. Woman, in the emotional state, seeing nothing, she'll just tell the dad, or she herself will invest all the savings that she have done for her future, pay the money, and the guys vanished. Boom, no NRI, no, it was just a scam that was being taken place. This is what sexual harassment it leads to. And more often, asking for pictures which someone is not about to ask, and leaving the matrimonial age. If you all are aware of the recent and the most lethal case of boys locker room on Instagram, wherein boys of 16, 14, 15 years old were actually sharing, you can say, adult pictures, or you could say nude pictures of girls who are not even 12, 11, 10, 14, 18. These kind of things were done, right? So this is sexual harassment again. Then impersonation and cyber stalking. Impersonation, in simple terms, using someone else's identity, right? So using the identity of the woman, using the name of the woman, and creating fake accounts. Impersonation, right? Cyber stalking. Now this is a term which young generations may say me that it's nothing. Stalking, we do it every day. Stalking is such a small term, but when this stalking leads to such an extent where the woman is not feeling comfortable, then it's completely disastrous. It's illegal. First of all, there is a separate section, there is a separate act involved in our IT, in the cyber laws, in the IT Act. I think section 354D, I'm not sure. Those who are studying law, they could know much better. There is a separate section added in our constitution for dealing with cyber stalking, which leads up to some lakhs of rupees of fine and imprisonment for a year or so, right? So it's just like you're following a woman virtually, you're spying on a woman virtually, is a point of cyber stalking over here, right? Then moving on, now I'll actually try to explain you that why actually these things are happening. Yeah, I said that this is happening, and the cyber crime is not seeing any age. There is no gender discrimination when it comes to cyber crime. Again, I'm repeating, but here are few of the factors which actually are making women insecure in the cyber world, or these are the reasons that not women are insecure basically, but these are the reasons that women unwillingly are being dragged into all this kind of you can say unfruitful activities. Digital gender inequality. You see, we in the real world, we say promote gender equality. Gender equality is important. Nobody is promoting digital gender equality. First of all, just remove the term digital. Till today, there is gender inequality in our society, and adding to that, there is digital gender inequality now. So cyber crimes do not define a specific scope for a target, yet a majority of victims are females in the cyberspace. And the reasons, including under this digital gender inequality, are psychological reasons, if I want to add, loneliness, insecurity, lack of family support. This is not the actual case with everyone, but these are some of the contributing factors that actually add up to that. As I said, in case of matrimonial sites, the woman is lonely. She's seeking for a partner who could actually, you could say, together they can live happy life and all. That emotional target, that emotional aspect is being targeted of loneliness. Insecurity, women feel insecure, right? We promote the banners of Nari Shakti, let the woman go outside even after 12 and all. It's that, if it's that's the case in reality, then why not in the digital world? Why there is an insecurity that many a times the female feel, shall I go on Insta? Shall I post this picture? Shall I go on Snapchat? I have to restrict the friend list and all. Why to do that? Because there is insecurity again, because it's a society's problem, society's mentality, and various other factors affecting lack of family support. Now, it's not the case with everyone, but yet there are a lot of places where still women are not given that importance and the family support is not provided compared to the males, right? Then another factor apart from psychological reasons are computer knowledge. Now, this is not something that I'm blaming the women's, but this is something which is again to be blamed into the general society at once. Why? Because you see, there is partial computer illiteracy when it comes to the female side. Okay. And the reason is differences in gender perspectives related to the internet usage. Either the woman is not given the right to right to study and all, especially in the rural areas and all. So if the woman is not educated in this digitalization world, where she will go, how she will understand these terms? So due to the lack of that computer knowledge, there is a gap that has been established over here. That is again making a factor that women are actually being targeted more. Then next is sociological perspectives. We saw psychological, we saw lack of computer knowledge, and we saw sociological perspectives. Patriarchal society is the first factor. Means still in many places it is considered that the male are superior than women, right? And it is being observed that what society will say. In Hindi, if I say log kya kahenge, first of all, it's a woman's life, and no one should be bothered about log kya kahenge, because log kehne wale to kehne hi wale, right? If we are happy in something, then you should not bother what others will say, because others have the only job to say. When they are supposed to act, they don't act, but they are ready to say every time here and now, right? This is the reason that is being again added up to the women being criticized in the cyber world. Then family honor, still the males are at the top, that males are, you could say, the respect of a family. If male is there, then it's kind of superior, and if female is there, it's not superior. This is, the female is only there to be a housewife or cook the food. This is still, and yeah, this, can you imagine, these are the real analog world contributions, but being in the analog world contributions, they are actually affecting the digital world contributions also. So these analog reasons are actually being a reason for the digital world inequality also. And the next is cyber harassment, digital peer pressure, blackmailing, etc., etc. are the some of the facts. The woman is being harassed online, woman is being abused online. We all know about peer pressure. There is digital peer pressure also. There is digital peer pressure. Relatives are saying, or messaging on digital world and all those other things. Are, what is this? Cousins and everywhere who are abusing the woman. Blackmail is done. All these other things are adding up to this. Then the last you can say point that I'll be adding for the digital gender inequality is the lack of awareness. So the improper awareness due to the do not mentality. And this is not for women, this is for everyone basically, right? And at the end of the session, I'll be telling you that how you can improvise on that as well. So till now we have been seeing everyone is promoting, even the government, even the NGOs, everyone is like, do not do this, do not do that, do not do this, do not do that, do not click on this link, do not visit the website if there is no SSL certificate, don't visit if there is no HTTPS, don't connect to a public Wi-Fi, don't stalk around the boys, don't accept unknown. So this is what is the biggest problem in today's cyber world, which we are not understanding, and we, from the perspective of hackers, are actually taking advantage of it, that there is the do not mentality everywhere. See, we are living in a democratic country, and we are living in a country where, see, we don't just export food grains, right? We are not the leader distribution for food grains and all to the other world. The main thing where the foreign countries, what they are importing from India is people, the brain. So that Indian jugaad mentality is what the foreigners want. Correct? Point is, we are in India. The moment we say someone do not do this, We are the one who will actually go and do that in the point of curiosity. The moment I say do not click on that link, why shouldn't I click on that link? क्यों नहीं करूं मैं उस लिंक पे click? So there will be a curiosity that will be present in our mind. That's the reason when I am saying do not mentality, indirectly we're increasing it even more, right? So due to this, awareness is there, but the method and the, you could say, the way it is being concluded, or the, you could say, um, the platform through which it is conducted, that is not appropriate, which I feel, due to the do not mentality. Because the moment I say do not, it's the first that I will, right? And no general awareness for cyber crimes and cyber laws is still present anywhere, a full-fledged source that you get, right? uh the Now, you all might have the term BT bachao cyber crime se. BT bachao to we all have heard, but BT bachao cyber crime se. And do you all agree, is this term correct? BT bachao cyber crime se. Again, a few seconds pause, just think over it. BT bachao cyber crime se, save women from cyber crime. Is this term correct? Out of, I'm just assuming, out of 100, there will be easily 80 to 85% of the people saying yes, it's correct. But that shouldn't be the case. That is the improper mentality that we are having. Why बेटी बचाओ साइबर क्राइम से? बेटों को पढ़ाओ साइबर कानून के बारे में. क्यों? Why? Why to save girls from cyber crimes? Educate the boys about cyber laws. Educate the boys about what will be the consequences. Educate the boys that her mother will cry for her. Her mother once upon a time was a girl, right? These are the aspects that we need to understand over here then. So, but this is something which you are not getting everywhere, because we are just following the do not mentality. This is another term that is being adding up over there for women being vulnerable in the digital world. Here are some of the statistics. Now, the statistics over here are not to discourage someone, but to encourage women now, in the terms of empowerment, in the terms of getting interest over here. So the global internet usage of women is nearly 48%, which is less in compared to those of males, which is nearly 60%. And these are the factors that may have added to that gap in the percentage, right? Now, there are less than 25% of women representing cybersecurity workforce. Let me tell you one amazing fact. And I'm not sure, this was around a few years. This survey which I'm saying is a few years back. I don't know about the current year. Every year, I'm just talking of our territory, our nation, India. Global, so there is no limit in the demand. But at least in India, every year, if I just want to give you an approximate, every year, India needs approximately 75 to 80,000 hackers. White hat hackers, not the intruders. Ethical, legal, security professionals, you can say that. Every year, India needs around 75 to 80,000 of security professionals, ethical hackers. Existing are only 25 to 30,000. Out of 75,000 to 80,000, there are only 25 to 30,000. And in that 25 to 30,000 also, the women are less than 25% representing the cybersecurity workforce. So I would, in fact, insist all the females to actually, show empowerment skills, the girl power, and actually encourage them to actually come in this amazing field of cybersecurity, because this is what we need. To be honest, in this field also, women who are actually there in the cybersecurity are doing much better. Many of my female friends who are seniors to me, who are of my age, they are engaged in various communities, InfoSec girls, cybersecurity for women, women in InfoSec, right? They are actually doing tremendously good than even we males also. Trust me, right? So here, this gap should be decreased. More, you can say, empowerment, more awareness should be done regarding the amazing field of cybersecurity. So more and more female. Trust me, how we actually feel pride about our army, navy, and air force. After few years, we will actually feel proud about our digital task force also, because we will be the ones who are actually defending the digital borders, and digital border has no boundaries. It needs 24/7 monitoring. Okay, so this is what I'm encouraging. Now let's go over. Now, before I go into much deep insight about the things that I want to actually add up, right? I'll just show a few of demonstrations over here. and right, you will actually understand that what are the things that I'm actually trying to say, and what all the points that I've said it till now, that you can say, I said that hackers are not hacking the neighbor's Wi-Fi and all. I'm actually going to say it in a most easy way, adding to the previous seminar's point, why I'm saying this fact that information damage is not focused, information theft is focused. We'll see in a few of the practicals that I'm actually going to show us, small demos. It won't take too long. I've kept everything ready. Okay, so a screen is also visible. Okay, if it's not visible, teachers, you may confirm to me if it's not visible, but I guess it is.
Visible, Rohit. It's visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so showing you a general examples. Padmaja ma'am already said a lot about things about cyber attacks. Let me show you a few of them practically then, right? Why not? Because that is how we actually understand. And this is what I'm trying to say, that the moment we say don't do this, don't do that, it's not awareness. The moment we say this attack is known as this, it's not awareness. When people practically see it, okay, this is how it's working in the back end, like, oh, so dangerous. That oh factor, that that causes awareness. Okay, why? I'll tell you that also in the psychological aspects. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a few demonstrations over here. Okay, now we all may be aware that we are getting all this kind of links and everything on social media platforms and all, correct? Okay, let me show you this. Now many of you may not understand what's going on the screen, but whatever I'm doing on the screen, that's not the main area to focus as of now. But what I'll be demonstrating, once the things are ready, that is the main area to focus. Let me just pick up any random video on YouTube. Okay, okay, so let me pick up this any random video. Now assume Tom and Jerry is the thing that I want to share on my digital circle. So was this Tom and Jerry funny video and all? Okay, and how we people do share it, this is what I'm going to show you now. And in a moment or two, I'll get a link I'll get a link with me, and that link will be something very simple, straightforward link, playing the same video. Okay, so here is the link, and I'll be opening my browser, and I'll just paste this link, and I'll visit this link once. So okay, the YouTube, I think it's loading YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is being loaded over here. So YouTube is asking for the camera permission. Okay, allow. So video is being played, right? Simple YouTube video. It asks for the permission because YouTube is there. It needs YouTube here, right? So YouTube needs some kind of playback permissions and all. Done. The person is seeing the video. The video is continuing. They are laughing and all. And in the back end, what actually was the threat invader or the attacker in the back end, what he or she was doing? First of all, if you clicked on that link, there is the IP address that has been captured. So number one, I got your IP address. Let me just wait for a moment, and I'll just turn off my video for a minute over here. Cool. Now in the back end, what actually was I was doing? Okay, let me just check, because maybe I'm using Cisco with the camera, so it's not available. Let me just check. Yeah, so the point is actually due to Cisco is using some camera, right? Cisco is using this webcam, so for the fact I'm not able to it's not able to capture, because camera cannot be used as at two multiple places at the same time. If I actually was the one to share you this link, probably just by clicking on this link, okay, probably just by clicking on this link, okay, nothing doing nothing else, okay, just opening this link as it is, as I opened, okay, in any of the browser it will get opened easily, executable. there is no warning or something, any kind of phishing or something, that kind of warning that has been presented over here, right? But just by playing on this, observe on one simple term that will actually arrive. So I think I should open this over here, in fact, again. So just focus on the corner that I'll be showing you, because Cisco is using the webcam. I won't be able to demonstrate it properly, right? But my webcam light is turned on as of now. And this is not in the case of smartphones, okay? Because smartphones do not have a webcam light. And this red dot also is not in the case of smartphones, right? And whenever I'm clicking on that link, basically what I'm getting as an info is I'm getting your IP address, and yeah, it's working now. I'll just turn on my video cam, and okay, I'll just close this video, and I'll turn on my Cisco video cam. And what happened in the back end was snapshots were automatically taken from my webcam, as you can see. When I was viewing that link. Can you see this? So just by clicking on the link, you say me how much did it took to hack webcam? Just a link, just a click, that's all. Okay, now let's go of one step ahead than this, right? Assume, especially this is for the ones who actually are quite into the digital age, right? So assuming that we actually do install a lot of apps that are available on the third party sites and all, and tomorrow there are a lot of links or groups that you are into, and tomorrow assume that there is one person or whosoever who have shared a link to you, saying that your Instagram followers will increase. Okay, so now for the link perspective, I know many of you people will say me the link, we should check the link and all, we should see the link, the validity and all those things. Let me prove you those things wrong. Okay, let me prove you those things wrong. Okay, so for example, I'm not sharing you a link, I'll be sharing you an application, a small app. Okay, APK file that you can install in your smartphone, and that app will be less than, it won't be around more than 2 or 3 MB or even less than that. Any antivirus you use in your smartphone, it won't detect it. And you all know that how much time it takes to install an app which is less than an MB, asking for no permissions. Okay, asking for no permissions, and still it is compromising your data. And let us see how. Okay, so here I'm going to just keep a few things ready. Okay, so I'll just go. And these are some things which we people, we intruders, okay, we hackers or someone, are the ones we do in the back end, not in the front of the user, right? But just to in the point of showing you that how these things are working, I'm doing it. Okay, and yeah, these may be very confusing for you as of now, but you will get it easily. Just don't worry. Just bear with me for a few more minutes. I'll just shrink the size. It's too big. Now it's clear. Here I'll type google.com. Let me just quickly navigate to the thing that I'm looking for. I'll directly go on that line number. Okay, now again, there is a link. Now you say me that we have to watch the link. This kind of links are as you are showing it, it's not valid links. They are looking some kind of suspicious link and all. Let me prove something wrong to you. So assume that I'm not sharing a link, but I'm sharing a application. The size of it is less than MB, and it's very small. No antivirus detecting it. You apply Quick Heal or whatever you have, no antivirus is actually detecting it. Okay, and you are installing it in a smartphone in the name of getting free Instagram followers. Let me see how many free followers do we get. So I'll just save this. I'll go back in my system. I'll build this again. I'll remove the previous edition. So here, this is an app. Basically, I'm going to change many things. Just a wait. Okay, so I'll just click on done over here, and here it's installed. I'll go on my home. I'll again open this app that I was using. Now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name, and the name I'll choose Insta followers plus. And these are the kind of things that you get on internet very easily, correct? I'll just save it again, remove the previous edition. The point is just you see how much time it is taking me to do this kind of sophisticated things. Okay, and done. Now this is the app over here, Insta followers. As you can see, the icon is also is Instagram likes and all. Let me just click on it and click on info. How much storage? Not even 1 MB, less than MB. No permissions requested. People do say yes, permissions, don't allow permissions. It's not asking for any permissions. And let me show you something amazing over here. I'll open this app. You cannot see any URL. Okay, this is my smartphone. See, this is an Android phone which I'm using. So probably there is some thing wrong when I was typing the link. Just a minute. We'll just try to open that link over here, just to save time. Okay, give me a minute. So even if I want to redo some things, it won't take much of time for me, for the attackers or the threat invaders, to do all this kind of things that I'm doing presently on my screen. So again, I'll go to, okay, so here is the problem. I'll again cross verify the link once. Okay, so there is one typo that actually I had done. No, it's correct. Let me just save it. And I'll go back. I'll just rebuild the application again. Okay, and done. App is installed. Web page is loading, but it's loading. Yeah, here we go. We have this application over here with us, which is Insta Followers Plus app, which is not even 1 MB, not asking for any permissions, no URL or nothing you can see. And here is the app, legitimate app, get free Instagram followers. I'll enter my Instagram username, assuming my Instagram username is Urvesh Thakkar. Here is my Instagram password. And get followers. Again, it got loaded. See, it's going on. We can go and buy. Legitimate working. We can click on order and all those other things easily. We can do those things. See, we are buying it. But focus over here now. Username Urvesh and password what I had entered. Right? So the username was Urvesh Thakkar, password was Urvesh112233. Now don't go and check, it's not my actual password, okay? The point is how much it took for me to just bypass that SSL lock and all which you are seeing. No, if there is no URL only that you can see, how you'll determine the URL is. That's why I say that, click, see the URL, see the padlock, see the SSL. We hackers are going smart. The point is, it's not us who are playing these smart moves. The point is, it is very easy to do all these things and bypass these kind of security mechanisms. Okay. Again, coming to the point, one or two small demo over here as well. Assume that you are still stuck to your opinion that see the URL. In front of you, what I'm going to do is I'll just, open another thing over here. Okay, just a minute. So again, I'm saying that, it may be confusing for you that whatever I'm doing, but I hope you are able to understand the attack, that how it's happening, right? I may go a bit fast for these demonstrations, because if I just go slow, then a lot of time will be taken in the demo only. And as per my experience, the more demo I show, the more it's less, because, we all like to see these kind of demos in real time, right? So what I'm going to do is, let me go to any website which is a legitimate website. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry if, just as in demo, I'm doing this. Um, I guess IEEE do have a website. Okay. So here is IEEE's website, or let's not choose that. Let us choose my college website, and I'm proud to be in JSCOE and JSCOEN. Okay. So this is the college website. The college, JSPM, Jayawantrao Sawant College of Engineering, the organizers of the event, right? Here is the actual website of JSPM, correct? I'll just, take this URL. Okay. And I'm going to paste it over here. And we'll see something cool. So it's .edu.in. And here is the another URL which I've got. And what I'll do is I'll open these things in a notepad. So this is a URL. Okay. And I'll copy this URL and I'll paste it in a notepad. Can someone spot the difference? I'll, zoom in even more. Just a minute or two. And I bet on you, from a naked eye, it's completely, you can say, nearly impossible to determine the differences between these two. You're like, Urvesh, they are the same. Everyone will agree to this. Let me copy the first URL that I've copied. Or else let's go for the second one. Let me just copy the second URL and paste it over here. And I'll see the website is loading correctly. Let me go for the first one. Paste it over here. Here you can see the website is not able to load. Same URL. On one hand, it's loading the website properly. Same URL, on the other hand, it's not able to load the website properly. What if I take this URL and I register on a registrant, and how much it takes to register a URL? How cheap are domains these days? For 1 year, they are charging me 800 for registering this kind of website. I just have to invest 800 rupees, register this URL, and I can easily run a clone of this website. Same is the URL. See, jspmjc.edu.in. Same is the URL over here. I just want to register this URL, and I can host any kind of phishing page or fraud page over here. Now, where are the terms? See the URL, all those other things doesn't even matter in this world, in the digital world, in the modern hacking world today. Okay. Now, let me show you a last demonstration for as of now, and then we'll move back to a PPT. Okay. And this is something which will actually add to the information what Padmaja ma'am have already given during her presentation. So this I cannot show practically because it will just play with the internet, and I don't want to get disconnected from the WebEx.
Urvesh, just a minute. Urvesh,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
you hear
ma'am.
me?
Yeah,
you
ma'am.
have 10 minutes, Urvesh. We are running out of the time.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah, just a reminder.
Yes, okay, ma'am.
All right.
So the point is, I'll just play this quick small video. I'll just close this website. Sorry, I just opened something else mistakenly. So I'll open this video over here. And this is something I had recorded before the session, okay? Before the presentation. So here is the resume file. So just focus on the video as of now. So on the desktop, here in this folder, I have my resume, which is in a PDF format, okay? And I'm able to open this resume without any problem. This was my previous resume basically a few years back where I had created. So this is a resume, a PDF file, okay? A normal PDF, as you can see, correct? It's opening very well, efficiently. What I did is I just created another PDF, same PDF, okay? And this is something which we, hackers do in the back end, not in front of the audience. I created another PDF file. You can see this. So here was my previous resume that I had opened over here, and this is the new resume that I have opened. As soon as I opened it, it's the same resume. It's loading in the same way, as you can see. Correct? But in the back end, if this was the resume opened by someone else, this is the hacker's screen now. As an attacker, a backdoor got opened and I can actually control your entire PC. See, what I can do is I can send files, I can see your desktop, I can use a keylogger, I can see what you're typing on the keyboard, I can see what you're doing on your screen. And here in a moment, see the screen is visible. Then I can open your file manager, I can steal your files, I can add files. In my C drive, see, I'm into the files. I can even see your webcam without the webcam light being turned on. All right. So, and I have Kaspersky as an antivirus. And when I opened this resume, this one over here, Kaspersky didn't give me any warning. I used to use Quickly. Quickly didn't give me any warning. Why? Because the signature of my file that I've created is unique and that is not present in that antivirus database. Correct? Now I'll wind up quickly, okay? And why the reason I showed you the demo? The reason to show you these kind of demos is to make you aware that it takes this for us hackers to hack into the systems, right? It takes us a snap to do this. So what actually we are hacking today? What hackers are actually hacking today? We hackers are actually, so privacy is a myth and security is an illusion, okay? What you could do is today you can go into your Google accounts.google.com. In the data and personalization feed, you can see all the data that what the YouTube video you are saying, what are the search results, what is the search history. The moment we turn on our mobile data, our privacy is at stake. Security is just an illusion today because it took me this much of time to hack these kind of things. In this much, in this last 7 minutes, I hacked your Instagram, I can hack a Google, I even hacked your system, I even hacked a website, right? So it's so easy. So what actually we are hacking today? It's not something that we hackers are actually, doing this kind of things and sending and then hacking is done. Today, we hackers are not hacking Instagram social media accounts. Today, we are hackers are not hacking neighbors' Wi-Fi. Today, we hackers are not hacking, girls or boys' Instagram passwords. We are not hacking systems, but we are hacking the human mind. We are hacking the human mind. Why? Here is the 4-step theory that I have myself proposed in this 4 years of research. So just to give you a quick example, have you seen these kind of terms where people are using their name as their passwords, people are using their mobile number as their passwords? For example, it's URVESH Urvesh 11 Urvesh 2001 11, or my mobile number, or my crush name, or my mom's name, or whatever as the passwords, wherein U is capital, URESH and 11, and there is a dollar special character. This is the password policy, right? Have you seen this kind of things? Out of 100, 90% of you will say, yes, I have seen this. Why are we seeing this? Why are you saying yes to me? Because out of 100, 70 to 60, not 60, 70 to 75 of the people who are there have actually done it. And that's the reason they are saying, yes, I have seen this. Whatever Urvesh is saying, this kind of password combination, I have seen this. Why? Because we are the one who have actually done it, right? This is how it's so easy to play with the human psychology today. Damn easy, without using any tools. I didn't use any tools, but I played with the psychology. Now what I can do is I can make a list of those people who have said yes, I can, after the PPT, I can go and do a brute force attack because they have done it, right? So easy to hack into someone's account today. So we are hacking the human mind. How hackers are using the human mind, I'll explain very quickly. This 4-step theory you won't find on the internet. It is not a generalized 4-step theory. This is something which I have developed on my own. So the first step that the hackers will do is convincing the target, because first impression is the last impression, right? Don't get convinced on anything on the internet. Whatever we see, everything is convincing. And how do hackers convince you on the internet? By staking your information. Okay. Then number 2 is digital trust asset, which I call it as DTA. So trust is a key of a relationship, and if you can fake it, you are in the cyber world. So who can build trust? Who can build trust? The person who is convincing you. This is how the chain goes. Just try to understand the chain now. Convincing done. Once convincing is done, impression is made, build the trust. Who can build the trust? Who can convince you? After building the trust, and this trust is digital, okay? This trust is digital. I'm giving a funny example to all the females who are of my age. You all know, right? If I want to impress a girl out tomorrow in the real world, it is very difficult for me. But if I want to build up trust in the digital world, it is very easy for me to build up trust. That is the emotional factor targeted. Third is cyber psychology. Okay, here is the step that where hackers play with the human mind. Who can play with your human mind? Who convinces you, and whom you trust. That's the reason these 2 steps are previous. When these 2 steps are accomplished, the attacker will play with the psychology, will use emotional manipulation factors to play with the psychology to get the information. And even a most cyber aware person can be trapped using these traps that I have designed, right? Most cyber aware person can also be hacked. And then use of tools, the 4th step. So whatever I did as of now as a demo, this is the 4th step actually that we do, which is very easy in a click of a snap, just like a snap. Before that, if I actually do these 3 steps, I'm not hacking a system. I'm trying to hack a human mind. Once I'm able to hack a human mind, I can enter any system, I can bypass any defense mechanisms. And not only in personal basis, corporates, insider threats, employee threats. Employee clicked on that phishing email, the system got compromised. Even despite millions and trillions of in the security, I myself is learning. I'm training others about security operation centers, SOC and SIM systems for advanced threat detection. I always say them, they are useless, completely useless, unless and until your internal employees are getting trained for incidents like this, right? This is quite a point that we need to understand now. Then, okay, I showed you about all these kind of things. I said about all this kind of measures and all, but why this is happening actually? Who is the best source of information? It's not Google. It's not the companies who is storing our data. It's not something else. It's not even the cyber world. The best source of information today is we ourselves. Adding to what the previous presentation was, that we don't realize actually the amount of information we are giving to others, and this information is then used to to do these kind of 4 steps. And whatever I did as a demo, this information is used over here now, right? So if you are wondering where information is used, why it was information theft and not information damage, this is the reason now. We are giving tremendous amount of information to others. Tomorrow, if I ask you your birth date in real world, any of the girl who is of my age, tomorrow if I ask you your birth date in the real world, you will go and you will suspect on me that why is this asking. If I ask you your mobile number, I ask you your email address, you will go and do a police complaint. Why? And then in the real world, if you see Instagram profiles, daddy's girl was born on this day, wish me a cake, cut a cake on this day, mostly sane is what I love, I am ambitious, this Trojan was born, cut a cake on this day. Why are we sharing that? Why? Tell me one thing, out of your 500, 700 followers, who is actually, wishing you happy birthday? Seeing your that tagline, Instagram bio? No one, except for your mom and dad and a few friends. They are the ones who spend the money and bring cake for you, right? This is what we need to be aware of, that we need to analyze what information we are sharing and is it even important, right? Why? And why do we share this information? Is elicitation. It's a technical term used in social engineering attack. Seeking extra attention from others in the cyber world. In real world, we can't seek so much of attention unless and until we are famous. But in cyber world, anyone can be a famous. See those, people who are not that educated, they are illiterate, but they know how to use TikTok. They used to get millions and millions of views, and they don't know how they are playing with their lives, right? So elicitation, seeking likes, seeking attentions. I've seen many of these cases. You yourself can relate to it. You have thousands of followers on Instagram. Tomorrow you post one picture, okay? You get 900 likes. You'll dance. You'll feel on the top of the world. Tomorrow you add another picture. You get just 9 to 10 likes. You won't be able to eat the food also. And that aggressiveness, that anger, you'll apply in your house. That I want to do this. I don't want to do this. Why? It is affecting the way you are behaving in the real world. Correct? Seeking attention. Tell me one thing. Why you want to seek attention from others? What are you getting from seeking attention from others? At the end, it's you. You have to build your career. You have to stand on your own legs, and you have to spend your life happily. Why you want to seek attention? The people are actually giving you attention. Focus on them. Why to seek attention from others then in the cyber world? Elicitation, bad quality. Preloading. Reacting to anything, everything without just thinking because you are influenced. Because you're influenced by all these things, reacting. Others are reacting, I'll also react. I'll go and jump into a pond tomorrow. I'll go and jump from the first floor tomorrow. Will you? You won't. Why then in the cyber world? This is trending, I'll go behind this. You know why? What is happening in these trends and all? I'll just explain with a demo example. As I was saying about abusive intelligence. So artificial intelligence is being used as an abusive intelligence. I know many of you females are quite aware of the trend that are going on, the hashtag the sari challenge, hashtag the couple challenge, hashtag 10-year-old challenge. Let me talk about hashtag sari challenge. What was the intent behind it of the hackers? See, we cannot convince a girl to wear modern dresses, correct? But a girl can easily wear a sari. And sari is a dress where, don't get offended, but sari is a dress where more body parts are exposed, such as waist, arms, and all those other things. And today, with the modern saris and all, it is more, exposed, correct? So these attackers or these hackers used to take these pictures of these girls wearing sari using artificial intelligence. They used to convert those pictures in such a way that the girl was without clothes. The same picture, the same girl, it is without the clothes, right? This is where AI is being used today. And it is out of 100, it is 88 to 80% accurate. It is why? Because it is, seeing the skin color of the girl, it is seeing the body color, the body figure and all, and making a picture in such a way that the girl is without the clothes. The same thing was done with males in case of couple challenge, the boys without the clothes. And we call it as AI? We call it as a human betterment? I don't think so. Then third thing is cyber addict. Understand one simple thing. Digital world is made by the humans. Humans are not made by the digital world. This is a point that we need to think on. Why are we so involved in the digital world that we have stopped living in the real world? Why are we enjoying the beauty in the digital world and so much of natural beauty is available in the real world around us? Correct? This is for the ones who are actually of my age group. Tell me one thing, you all. Tomorrow, if you are in some trouble, out of those 1,000, 2,000 followers, how many of them will actually come and meet you? I bet not even 5 or 10. It will be your own mom and dad who are spending, rupees, helping you all and, helping you to come out of that problem. It's your own mom and dad. Correct? You are doing Snapstreak using Snapchat. You are doing Snapstreak with your friends. Have you ever tried to do Snapstreak with your mom? Have you ever tried to do, play COD, play Call of Duty or play PUBG with your dad? No? Try to do that. Your mom will beat you in Snapstreak and your dad will beat you in COD. Right? The point is, we actually overlook the things that are present in the cyber world today. Unnecessarily we react, unnecessarily we post our information. Your information is your information, none of others' business and none of others' information, right? And just imagine this information you're sharing, is it even feasible? Correct? Is it even feasible to share? Not at all. Now for the parents who are attending this session, for the elders, for the parents who are attending this session, okay, assume that your child is playing down in the balcony, you're in the balcony, or you're in the terrace, your child is playing down, and you observe all of a sudden there are 5 to 6 people. I'm only saying 5 to 6 people who are elder, strong, muscular mans coming and surrounding your child. What would be your reaction? You will feel you'll directly jump from the terrace and smash those boys, right? You will feel, you just started, hey, who are you? Just leave my child alone. This will be your reaction as your parent, correct? So all the parents tell me one thing. The same way, I'm just talking about 5 to 6 guys who surrounded your child in the physical world. There are 500, 5,000 people, followers, friends in the cyber world surrounding your child. Why we are not reacting in the same way? Why? Because we need to understand. I know there is a technological gap. I know there is a lot of technological gap, not between the parents, teachers, and everyone. There is a digital gap. Number one, who are elders, who are parents, try yourself to involve in those digital world. If your daughter or son is using Snapchat, you also install Snapchat and do a snap streak. If your son or child is playing COD, install COD, try to play COD. Why not? This is how the gap will be reduced, right? This is what I wanted to say. And it's not something that you use this antivirus or that antivirus. Before concluding the presentation, I would like to share the world's best antivirus. World's best antivirus, which you already have, is this. Trust me, if this is aware, if your mind is aware, if you are aware in the cyber world, no one can hack you. Don't use any antivirus. Spend some time to learn about awareness in the cyber world. What is going on? What are the trends? What are the scenarios that are present in the cyber world? What are the threat actors that are playing around? Awareness is the only factor. Trust me, slowly, government is only trying to adopt it. There was the International Cybersecurity Summit organized by Kerala Police, where our NSA, National Security Advisor of India, Shri Ajit Doval sir, they were invited, and they presented a survey. 500% spike increase in the cyber crime in India, and the only source is to spread awareness. Correct? So kindly, awareness is the only weapon, because that is the only weapon which can actually prevent the hacking of human mind. And if you prevent the hacking of human mind, eventually you're preventing the hacking of your digital systems also. It's not about we are sending some ransomware and directly you click on the file, and no. There are a few steps. You are actually portraying in that scene. Today technology have developed at a very good age. Okay, Android 10, Android 11 are sharing very restrictive permissions in the app. You are notified everywhere. Technology is very correct. Technology is playing its role. It's you who have to play the role now and understand where are you clicking allow, where you're not clicking allow, and the most important, where you are sharing your information. So the 3 mantras that I'll share right before I conclude, so where my own NGO is working. So the tagline of my own NGO is Suraksha, Jagrukta, and Shakti. My teachers know about it. Suraksha, Jagrukta, and Shakti. Convert it into English: security, awareness, and power. Be secure. Understand about the latest security terms that are going on. Be aware, and then you will gain the power, right? So Suraksha, Jagrukta, and Shakti is the only terms that is the only antivirus. These 3 mantras that I'm suggesting you. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say. Okay. And before I just leave, I would just, if ma'am allows me to share the anti-phishing information also about the anti-phishing portal, if it's okay.
Hello, Urvish. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. Is it
Can you
okay
repeat me?
if I just share about the anti-phishing portal as an information where
Oh,
people
that
can
is
come and report phishing threats?
yeah. It's fine. No problem.
Okay. So I would just like to highlight a bit of, I mean, I'm not doing any direct promotion of my NGO, but the NGO which I have started, it's known as Anti-Cybercrime Society. And this is the NGO which do not focuses on the do not mentality. Here, we do not spread awareness with the do not mentality. We do awareness with these kind of webinars, where amazing colleges like JSCOE, amazing bodies like IEEE, WIE are involved. And these are the kind of awareness we do, where the do not mentality is eliminated, because the moment we say do not, we will do it, right? So here you can find anti-phishing portal. Okay. Now, obviously, this NGO is recognized by a lot of partners and sponsors. We have TCA, B4G, CH, Crime Free Bharat, Infosys. These are some of the bodies associated. We have JSCOE associated at Cybersecurity Club, right? So here is an anti-phishing portal that you will find on this website. Okay. What you can do is you can click on report phishing and you can report these kind of malicious websites. It's only for websites as of now, wherein you get spin and wheel to win an iPhone and all those other websites that you get in your social media, right? You can come and report on their that website over here, regardless if you are a victim or you are not a victim of that. We started in October till today, till now, we have 8,000 plus database of phishing websites, and we have taken down legally, we have taken down 4,000 plus phishing websites legally. And this is how we are taking down the websites, because we have to do something. If we not track that, we have to take down, right? So this also I'm sharing as a point of an awareness. Rest all the things you are quite aware. Visit cybercrime.gov.in, the national reporting portal of India, where you can report cyber grievances. Correct? Trust me, if you are self-aware, you don't need to do all these kind of things, right? Here you can report a cyber crime. Then there is women safety helpline for sexual harassment and all available. You can do that, right? So stay away from police, doctor, and lawyer. And if you are aware, you automatically stay away from these three people, right? In terms of troubles, right? Otherwise, they are our best friends. So without extending the presentation even more and disturbing your busy workload, I'll conclude the session over here. Okay. And if there are any queries, I again thank the entire JCOE, IEEE, and everyone for inviting me as a speaker. Officially, my presentation is over now. I'm up for the doubts.
Okay, thank you, Urvesh, for such a nice presentation and the demonstration of the hacking also. Now, as you rightly said, we also in our college, we have the gender sensitization committee against sexual harassment, and I'm looking after that portfolio also. So all the attendees have got the right information, proper information, and about the phishing mails, they will be now aware. Now, just to have a question answer session, I will request Aarti madam to conduct the question answer session. So she will be reading all the questions which we have received from the participants, and then you can answer them. So over to you, Aarti madam.
Amazing session, Urvesh. It's really, even I got overwhelmed with the demonstration, what I could see on the screen. Really, it's awareness. One should have this awareness, otherwise it is very difficult, because we are living in the digital world, virtually we are living, where actually the things are happening, which we call it as a cyber crime today. So every individual, in fact, there is no gender discrimination at all for this. Every individual should be aware of this. So any queries from the participants, if you have anything, you can actually add it into the chat box. Urvesh, I kindly request you to add your mail ID in the chat box if anybody wants to save it and they can use it for their use.
Okay, ma'am.
There is one question. What do you think if the security awareness training should be mandatory in schools and colleges?
If the security awareness training should be mandate in schools and colleges is number one. At least many of the states, such as Maharashtra, and the education bodies such as SPPU and all, if I'm talking about the government colleges, are already working on it to make it as a mandate. Okay. Even I myself was writing a textbook for standard 5th to 8th in one of the schools in Pune, right? So I guess it's a very strong measure, because you see, I started a journey in this field when I was in my 10th. People actually realize this very late. People just think it's too early to start. So one thing I'd like to say is it's never too early or too late to start something. And if these kind of measures are actually taken by government or the education bodies, or even if they are dealing it, if teachers the clubs. We have JSCOE who have cybersecurity club, and it's my privilege to lead that. Independently, we are running all these kind of things and all independently without involving some other third party body and all. It is quite useful, and I believe it is actually needed to start at this age, because today you see we actually are learning about these technologies whenever there is a child born at such a place. Initially a mother used to make that child calm, pamper the child. Today if a child is crying or wants to, if the child is doing mischief, the parent will take a phone and just play a game, and the child will be quiet. They know much more about the technology rather than we also know today. My brother knows much about technology, and he teaches me, okay, hey bro, brother, have you seen these kind of things? I'm like, no. It's like, see, I found it on YouTube, right? The point is, this awareness should be from this specific age itself, and it's the actually I to believe it's it's if we could start it in the age of 7, 10, 12 as a cyber hygiene, then move on with cyber security and all, and make some of the courses at the colleges level mandate with providing some credits. That would be the best scene that I would like to see in the upcoming future.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Urvesh, and all the participants. You can see Urvesh Thakkar's mail ID. If you have any queries, you can mail him directly and you get relevant answers to your query. So now I request Professor Sonali Patil Madam to propose vote of thanks for this entire event. Over to Sonali Patil.
Good afternoon, one and all. I, Professor Sonali Patil, take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this event, Cybersecurity and Women Empowerment, on the occasion of International Women's Day. I would like to thank Honorable Founder Secretary Dr. T.J. Samant Sir, JSPM Group of Institutes, Pune, Honorable Campus Director, JSPM JSU Hadapsar Campus, Dr. S.K. Samant Sir. I would like to thank respected Principal Sir, Dr. R.D. Kanphade Sir. Further, I would like to thank Professor Tushar Mote Sir, Counselor JSCOE IEEE branch. I am grateful to all the IEEE officials, Khilari Sir, Neha Sharma Madam, Amar Sir, Dr. Shailaja Patil Madam. We are grateful to you. I would like to thank Diksha Sharma, Student Coordinator. I would like to thank technical sponsors, IEEE Women in Engineering, WIE, and Cybersecurity Club, JSCOE. I am grateful to all the HODs, Professor N.G. Padulkar Sir, Dr. C.A. Manzre Ma'am, Dr. P.A. Patil Sir, Dr. Jyoti Patil Ma'am, Dr. P.D. Lambhate Ma'am, Dr. Aarti Dandwate Madam, Dr. Priya Gokhale Ma'am for their support. I would also like to thank Professor Deepanjali Padhi Madam as a supporting staff. I am grateful and I would like to thank today's resource person, Dr. Padmaja Joshi Ma'am and Mr. Urvesh Thakkar for the valuable time and the excellent session. And last but not least, I would like to thank all the participants, students, faculties, and the industry person who have joined us. So I declare herewith the closure of the webinar. Thank you one and all once again, and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Some important instructions I will request Aarti Madam to give to participants regarding the feedback link.
Participants, we will be sharing the feedback on the WhatsApp group. You'll be sharing on the WhatsApp group, and you have to give the feedback, and we will be taking your email ID. As and when you get a feedback, when we get a feedback, you will be receiving the certificate. So kindly wait. We have some restrictions for sending the certificates. So kindly wait around. We have 300 participants. We need 2 complete working days so that all the participants can receive their certificate. So right now, you will be receiving a link for the feedback. Kindly provide the feedback, then only you can get the certificate. So this is our instruction which we have. Kindly follow it, and we will be sending a feedback form right now to your WhatsApp group.
Also on the chat box.
And also on the chat box.
You can receive the feedback link.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah.
Ma'am, can Can I get recorded video from your site?
Yes, you will get. No
On the
worries.
registered email
Thank you,
ID,
thank you.
I will be sharing the WebEx link. Also, you will get a feedback form, feedback link. This is the instruction for all the participants. And please bear with us. We can require 3 to 4 working days because number of participants are huge. We have got 385 registrations to date, and then I have closed the link. So please bear with us. I think you will see the link in the chat box for the
Yeah.
feedback. Ma'am, can you?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Because you are panelist.
Just a minute.
And also I request all the panelists to make their cameras on so that we can have the photograph. Padi madam, Dandavati madam.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
make
I'm
your-
sending the link.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Just give me a minute. The feedback link is being sent.
Yeah, it is visible in the chat box. All the participants can click on this link and send your feedback. Your feedback is valuable to us and it will give energy to arrange such more webinars in future. And kindly let us know your suggestions also in that feedback form. So Dandavati madam will open the.
Just a minute. ma'am.
Can you?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is visible. So Padi madam, can you make your video on? Okay, I'm taking the snapshot. Okay, thank you all once again for your enthusiastic presence in this webinar and hope this webinar will help you to understand the cybersecurity and women empowerment more clearly. Okay, so